Hey guys, it's Bill Riccette here. I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the viral campaigns that I've come across in terms of the commercial viral and the organic viral. So we're going to start with one of the commercial viral effects, and we're going to talk about a couple of fantasy football sites. Uh, I'm sure some of you out there have played fantasy football in the past. Don't know how much of you have played daily fantasy football, though, specifically FanDuel and DraftKings. And those are going to be the sites that I'm going to talk about in terms of how they've been using, uh, media like television and whatnot to try to get their message across. So as you can see here, you're probably not going to be able to hear it, but you can at least watch the video. Uh, this is one of the preseason preseason commercials for fantasy football from FanDuel, basically saying, like as you can see here, no season-long commitment, immediate cash payouts. So that's really the gist of these daily fantasy sites. So that's FanDuel, and then this is one of the DraftKings. This is one of the fantasy football commercials for DraftKings, which is basically the main competition for FanDuel. Again, probably won't be able to hear, but you can at least kind of get a visual of what's going on. Yeah, so as you can see, those are uh, two of the big wigs now in the fantasy football world, as daily fantasy has really exploded onto the scene as players um, really enjoy not having the season-long commitment and being able to just play 1 week and win cash almost immediately. Um, so in terms of uh, using commercials to get their message across, or we've really seen this season both sites spend big money on TV advertisements. TV advertisements, excuse me. Uh, I'm sure some of you have seen a few NFL games this season, and if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It feels like almost every other commercial is either a FanDuel commercial or a DraftKings commercial. But I think um, it's worked pretty well. You know, here's one of the articles I've been reading. So you could see even right here in this paragraph, during the 7-day period that began with the NFL season opener between the Patriots and the Steelers, DraftKings and FanDuel combined to spend $26.1 million on television ads, placing each among the top 8 U.S. advertisers, along with Verizon, Warner Brothers, and Geico. Um, but certainly that last sentence there too is interesting. The ads certainly got noticed, and not always for the better. I've certainly noticed on Twitter that a lot of people are not so keen on all these commercials by DraftKings and FanDuel. Uh, it can be seen as a little bit of overkill, but the fact is, fantasy football is a huge seller in the world of sports, and you add in the fact that people can win big money in the blink of an eye. I mean, the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, DraftKings had a tournament where they paid out $10 billion in prizes each week. That's just one tournament. The winner received $2 million. In fact, I'll show you the site. This right here is DraftKings, and there right there is the top banner, the Millionaire Maker. $20 can become 1.2 million. So those are some of their hits. They're hoping, by offering these free promo codes and having their commercials seen pretty much everywhere, that people are going to be interested in the site and join in. And certainly the more people that join the site, the more money DraftKings and FanDuel can make. But as we see here, again, it's certainly, like I said earlier, a little bit of overkill, having seemingly every other commercial be FanDuel or DraftKings. What's interesting though too is that the Millionaire Maker, as I talked about before, being their big tournament hit, hasn't filled up in the last couple weeks. So they're spending all this money on television ads, but they're also having to pay out some of their money to make up the difference for these what we call guaranteed prize pool tournaments. So like in the example I showed for this week, the $7 million, they're going to run that tournament whether or not it fills, and they are going to pay out $7 million. Now, as we speak here, and I'm recording this at about 8:30 Friday night, so we have about a day and a half before the tournament locks. Only about half the field has been filled. There's about 400,000 entrants, and or 400,000 potential entrants. Only about 200,000 have been filled. So there's a chance that it may be another tournament that doesn't fill, and DraftKings is going to have to pay out more money to make up the difference. So you have to wonder now, is all this television spending worth it? Because of all the money that these sites are having to pay out, not just with television ads, but having to make up a lot of the difference for these big tournaments. Now, it certainly doesn't help either that it's a $20 buy-in. Some people might get scared off by that, but the fact is they're still having to pay out that kind of money. And it's not just TV commercials that we're seeing these sites. Specifically with DraftKings, you're seeing their name almost all over the place. ESPN's another big one. They now have their own daily fantasy sports expert that comes in and makes picks. So DraftKings is certainly one of their big sponsors. Their fantasy shows, they mention DraftKings. Even the World Series of Poker, which is broadcast on ESPN, is now sponsored by DraftKings. So you're seeing their name everywhere. So it's not just the television commercials, but it's attaching their name to all these events. SportsCenter, World Series of Poker, what have you. Getting their names out there, for semi-pun intended here, trying to become the king of the fantasy sports world. But again, it's interesting in the sense that they're spending all this money, but you look at some of the big tournaments that they have, and they might not be getting the results that they're hoping for. So sorry about that. I just had a bit of an issue there. So yeah, so that's kind of the talk a little bit about the viral, or the how DraftKings and FanDuel have gone viral with their commercials. As far as the accidental viral video, this was a video that I came across a few days ago. uh, just seeing it on the news, and it was just so interesting because me being a game show fan, when I saw this, I was like, wow, this looks interesting. For those of you who have watched Saturday Night Live in the past and have seen the Celebrity Jeopardy skits, you will recognize the name Turd Ferguson, played by Norm Macdonald. Turd Ferguson, of course, being the alter ego of, so I'm trying to remember, the character Norm Macdonald played was Burt Reynolds. Yes. So the alter ego of Burt Reynolds. Well, on a recent episode of Jeopardy, as you can see here, as we have to get through the ad because I had to reload the page, but you'll see here, we get to Final Jeopardy, and clearly the contestant did not know the answer to the question. So she comes up with an interesting response. Yeah, as you can see here. And then here was the girl in the middle. What is the love ballad of Turd Ferguson? So, yeah, she obviously had a little bit of fun with it. And Alex Trebek actually said the name Turd Ferguson. And as you can see here, it's gotten over 5 million views just this video alone. So, very interesting, very funny. So that's just my pick for what I thought was interesting as far as what we're calling the accidental viral vid. So hope you guys enjoy, and